Hey y'all, welcome to our podcast, Let's Talk About It,
where we seek to bridge the communication gaps in our relationships.
We are your hosts. I'm Louise, a certified marriage counselor and certified sex therapist.
And I'm Mika, a defense lawyer with over 20 years experience.
We are mothers,
wives,
sisters,
and friends.
And together, we are Black Diamonds 2.0 Entertainment. We are strong,
resilient,
powerful,
beautiful,
but never flashy,
pressured, but unbreakable.
Are you a Black Diamond?
If so, wear your title boldly and proudly because you deserve it, my kings and queens.
How are all our Black Diamonds doing today? What's going on in our relationships? Let's talk about it.
Relationship and communication. Mm-hmm. So you can be in a marriage, you can be in a situationship, you can be in a whatever relationship you want to call it. But what we have come to know is just men don't get it. They don't get us. They do not get us. And it's all because we don't communicate the same. Mm-hmm. They don't speak our language. We don't understand theirs.
Right. Absolutely.
So one thing I do know is, what do you do in your relationship when you and your man, or you and your significant other, I should say, because it ain't always a man.
You're right. It's true.
Not here days now. So what if you and your partner, but typically really in men and women relationship, when your libido doesn't match their libido?
That's a good conversation right there. It's almost like this situation of being unequally yoked in that way. Yeah. It's, we in the sex therapy arena call it discrepant desire. It's like somebody wants it every single day and somebody's like, you know what, once every other week is fine with me. And there's a multiplicity of reasons why that can occur.
Absolutely.
Depending on how old you are as a female or as a male. Just from a biological standpoint, a physiological standpoint, there could be a lot of different reasons why someone may want it less or want it more. Somebody might have testosterone that's through the roof, and somebody else may have testosterone that's like little or nothing, and they're not interested.
What's important for especially women, because, typically, especially let's say if it's flipped and your man doesn't want it when you want it or as much as you want it, women tend to internalize that and feel like, okay, he's no longer attracted to me. So I think that's a good point that you made, that is not always, it could be a plethora of reasons. It doesn't always mean, attraction. It doesn't always mean I don't love you. It doesn't always mean I don't desire you. It could be, something physiological going on. It could be something neurological going on. It could be something medical going on. It could be a whole plethora of things.
It could be that you didn't take out the trash, and I'm aggravated because I've been asking you to do that over and over again, and you haven't done it yet. And so I feel like you don't validate what I am asking for, and you're not meeting that very simple request. And because of that, I'm aggravated. So no, I don't want to be with you right now because... No, why would I meet your needs when you're not meeting mine?
That's the part. Meeting each other's needs. And I think especially men, they just don't, I don't think they really get it, Louise. I don't think they get it when it comes to us and physically they feel like, hey, this is your job as my wife, my woman, my whatever. But I don't think they understand that we also have needs as well. When it comes to sex, I really feel like women, we have to feel love to want to give ourselves to you that way. Men derive love from sex.
Right.
So we connect in that way, even though it's a different way of looking at sex. But I don't think as women, we understand that you feel loved when you are being loved that way. loved that way. But they don't get that for us. We got to feel love before we want to give love. that way. You understand what I'm saying?
And there's research behind what you're saying. Like there have been researchers who have said that after orgasm, men feel loved. They feel more emotionally connected to their partner at that point. And the flip side for women, that women feel more connected and need that emotional connection before orgasm. Right. And in order to be able to be comfortable enough to allow that release physiological to happen.
And it don't just start in the bedroom.
No.
Foreplay really starts all day.
How about good morning?
Start there. How about that? That's a good start, right?
Just good morning.
Just acknowledge I'm here.
Hi, I'm here.
Hey, I'm glad to see you. Right. I'm glad to roll over and you're next to me.
Right.
Good morning says all of that.
Yes.
But when you get up and you don't say shit. Right. It's like...
There's going to be some problems and some repercussions going on.
Because it really does make me feel like that you ain't value me. You don't care that I'm next to you. It could be you get up and you go on about your day and it's like, okay, did he not see that I'm here? Because guess what? I don't have to be here.
Right. I can bounce.
So it carries, it starts all day long. It can start with a text. Hey, baby, I was just thinking about you.
Right.
And they don't get that part. So what really do you do though? What really do you do when you're unequally yoked when it comes to libido? Like your man wants it way more often than you do. And we know, like, as for us women, when we get older, you know, your libido starts to decline. Mm-hmm. And men still may be up there. They're still producing that testosterone and we ain't. You know what I'm saying? And so, but as women, especially women like you and I, we're working, we're being mothers, we got demanding jobs that don't necessarily end when 5 o'clock comes.
Right.
And so what do you do so let me ask you this question. When your spouse or any other relationship or people that you know, what is your advice to them when their libido doesn't match their man's libido? Do you think the woman should just give in to that whim every time or that request every time? Or do you feel like there should be a conversation had and there should be a understanding of when we're going to do it, which leads to other things.
Right.
So let me set it up this way before you answer this question. So I was watching an episode of Love and Marriage, Huntsville. Mm-hmm. And I really connect on there with the Kimmy that's on there. I really like everything about her. But her and her husband, this last episode that I watched, her and her husband were at a marital retreat along with the other couples. But her husband said, much like something my husband would say, that we should have sex every day. And her sentiment was, this is excessive. And she says, hey, I do a lot. I'm ways, I have all these boys at home or men folk, I should say, at home, and I'm doing cooking, cleaning, I'm working, but, and I'm not getting a lot of help in those areas. When do I have really time to sex you every day, all day? But his thing was, I really don't feel like the other partner should say no. I really don't. So what is your thought, one, on when your libido doesn't match my libido or his libido? And two, so how do you work that out? If your significant other is saying, listen, I really don't feel like you should say no. I really feel like you should, you should be the one that's giving it to me. You're my wife, you're my woman, you're my significant other, what have you. What is your thoughts on that?
So first of all, let me just start off by saying I am not an advocate for women just laying there and giving it to them. It reminds me of an episode of the movie The Color Purple. Ooh. And how Miss Seeley said, he just climbs on top of me. And I think it was her that said that. We should not be living our lives that way. Women have developed so much over the years and gotten so many rights. And I can't say I'm like a feminist or whatever, but why all of a sudden are our bodies not our own? We think about Roe versus Wade. We think about all of the arguments that we're having over abortion right now. Already, even without all of that, women, our bodies seem like they're never our own.
Everybody else but us.
We carry the babies, and as we carry these babies, our bodies are not our own. We're sharing it with a whole nother human being, right. Or 2 or 3, depending on how many kids you carry at one time. Yep. And so you lose this sense of your body just being your own. And then as we raise these children, when they're sick, they're all over us. Mm-hmm. Again, our bodies are not our own. We don't always get the choice to say, no, I don't want you near me right now. Leave me alone. Don't touch me, because you can't do that with kids. Mm-hmm. You can give boundaries, of course, but our bodies seem like they're not our own. And then to turn around and tell a woman, hey, just lay there and do it whenever he feels like it. It makes you feel like a pin cushion. It makes you feel like a blow-up doll. So is that right? Absolutely not. So I'm not an advocate for that. That's number 1. Number 2 is, yes, you brought it up earlier. You said, should a conversation be had? Absolutely, a conversation should be had. We need to talk about this discrepant desire. We need to talk about that you want it more than I do. We need to talk about, why is that? Is it physiological? Is it a lack of emotional connection? Is there a lack of validation? Does somebody not feel validated? We can't just make it one-sided about that one person who's like, oh, I'm not getting what I need. So, okay, so why aren't you getting what you need? Is it because I'm just denying you because I'm just petty and I just want to make you suffer over there? Or is it because there's a real reason that maybe we haven't uncovered yet? Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of deep emotional intimacy that needs to happen to really solve that issue, or at least come to some type of compromise that works for both parties in that relationship. And I think that a lot of times we don't do that. We just get mad. Oh, you get on my nerves. You always like, I ought to put your hands all over me and I'm just done. I'm over it. And so then both sides build this sense of resentment. Mm-hmm. Somebody's always pursuing and somebody's always pushing away. And then now we both are resenting each other for different reasons, but nobody's talking about it. And it's time that we just kind of peel the scab off. Let's deal with what's in the room.
That part. Well, I will say in men's defense, since we're talking about men, I don't really think they want us to lay there and just let them have their way. Mm-hmm. I think they do want us to be engaged, and I think they want to feel like we want to have it. But the problem is most of the time, or some of the time, we really just don't, not because we're not attracted to them, not because we don't love them, but because we just are tired, because we do a whole lot, especially as a working mom. We do a lot. And I don't think men really appreciate as much as we do. Mm-hmm. I think we've made it look so easy. I think that they feel like we're super women. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they feel like, oh, she can handle it because she's always have. But even the strong get weak sometimes. Yes, and sometimes we need somebody to lift us up. And so I think you're right. I think we do need to have a conversation. But I'm really interested as to how that conversation should go, because I don't want it, I don't know. It's kind of two-sided in the sense that I'm looking at, okay, you have a conversation and said, okay, hey, we're going to do it on Wednesdays and Fridays or whatever days you set up. And so that person knows, hey, the male knows I'm going to get it on those days. The woman knows, hey, I need to get myself prepared. I'm going to do it on those days. But then you come up and they're like, well, don't that take out the spontaneity about it all? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, do you want it and lose the spontaneity, or do you want to be spontaneous and my spontaneousness don't come until the weekend when I get some time, and so,
or next month when I feel like it again?
Exactly. So it's like it's really hard, especially when you're in a relationship. I don't think younger couples have this problem, but I really do think it's not just us who are in these longer term relationships. I've been in my marriage, where me and my husband have been together over 28 years, and you're 20,
probably 25 years together, 21 married.
So that's a long time. Mm-hmm. And so I think we're the group of people that probably are experiencing this the most. Come in. About so.
We got another one of our friends. Yes. Today's episode of Let's Talk About It is being sponsored by Bright Captures. We are a photography and videography company, and we would love to capture you, your family, or your event. We aim to capture exactly who you are, your personality. Contact us today. A discrepant desire, or somebody having low libido, another one having, and we were talking about solutions, right? So you said one of the solutions could be scheduling sex. So you have it on Wednesday and Friday. And then you said, well, do you want the spontaneity?
Yeah,
because my spontaneity don't come
right. Because,
or do you want
because they, the whole thing is, we want it to be spontaneous. We want it to be passionate. If it's going to be, if we're going to schedule it, it really ain't as passionate. It really is not, we want you want the fun part of it. So scheduling kind of takes that away. But it's like, okay, bruh. Come, you need to come with your solution then. What is your solution? Your solution is give it to me every day.
Right.
And my solution is that shit don't work.
Right.
So it's like, what do we do to meet in the middle?
So scheduling it is great, right? Because that's really good for situations where maybe the woman is more anxious, maybe there's a pain disorder, maybe the man has premature ejaculation.
Now I'm gonna stop you, friend, because if there's some pain disorder, we need to get that checked out. We ain't scheduling sex just to get around no pain disorder. We going to see our gynos. That's what we gonna do. We not gonna sit here in pain because it's not just for us.
But listen,
sex is not just for them.
I get
it's for us too. So if I'm in pain, ain't nobody getting none. So no.
Listen, I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. I'm just saying that there are certain situations, perimenopause, menopause, vaginismus, vulvodynia,
all that need to be talked through with your gyno, not your husband.
These are not STIs. It could be endometriosis. It could be anything that you're not willing to. But some people don't understand that. They also don't know that. They don't know where.
That's why they got me and you.
That is why. That's why y'all need to listen to this podcast all the time, because
that's why they got me and you.
It's true. But in that situation, like, it works really well for women who may be overly anxious, or a man who is overly anxious with their partner and having performance issues, those kinds of things, to schedule. Right. And so one way I work around that as a sex therapist is I have them put a bunch of their fantasies in a bowl and they crumple them up on little pieces of paper. So on Wednesday, you go and you dig in the paper, and that's the spontaneity, because you don't know what you're going to get. Because maybe the spontaneity can't be.
I like that.
You can do that. Let's go get a bowl right now.
I might do that, but I do like that. I do like that. I'm gonna tell you another thing that we've done, and y'all ain't gonna get all into my business, but but I am gonna tell you one thing that we did, like, that was very interesting. So remember I told you we and I talked about it. We did the line down the middle. We did the board and we hid our results.
Okay,
remember? So it was like, I would try this. Yes, I would try this.
Heck no, it don't go there.
No, I said hell no. Hell to the no. Right. Hell to, this was my category. Hell to the no. And then we had the category of, give me more, or something like that. So we broke that. That was really interesting. Even after us being together 28 years, we looked at each other like, what? So he was like, "Ooh, you would try that?" Yeah. See. So I did like that little. That was a little sad. It was all off topic, but I did actually like that exercise. So we did that one. But I back on topic. I really do like that suggestion that if you do schedule it, the way you can put back the spontaneity is to put things in a bowl. And hey, but that leads to another thing. So what if you are drawing something out of that bowl that is in your hell to the no category?
Well, see, that's why you make the bowl together.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't just make a bowl for Walter, right? Because I don't know what he likes and what's on his...
No. I thought you were saying...
But if I make it only from my perspective, right?
Okay.
Then I'm going to get everything I want. And that's not what we're going for. What we're going for is for everybody's needs.
But I thought he making his list. You making we put in there and we draw.
No, we are making it together.
Okay.
So you are not going to put things on that list that's going to be Bishop Bullwinkle at the end of the day.
Okay, so that leads to another. That leads to another discussion, which is, what if your significant other wants you to do things that may be out of your comfort zone or may be in your hell to the no list? How do you reconcile that? Because I don't think it should be one-sided either way. Meaning, you may have somebody who's in a relationship who's just, for lack of a better word, approved. I ain't doing nothing but missionary. I ain't doing nothing but laying here. I don't want to do nothing but you on top. Blase blah, right? Versus then you have somebody else who is, I want it all. I want
everything. I want get
all around the world. So how do you make that happy compromise?
I still think it comes back to that big word that everybody throws out all the time, and that's communication. But I'm going to go a step further and say there has to be some understanding, and we got to come to the same place. So I'll just go religious for a second. How can two walk together unless they agree? So how can we walk down that path together if we not on some type of line of agreeing on what we doing and where we going and how this is going to work out?
As women, we completely understand each other. But here comes the problem. And this is why we're here. And this is what we've been talking about.
Yes.
Men don't understand a damn thing that come out of our mouth. And we don't understand the way they think.
This is true.
So,
this is true.
We can have these communications. Literally, me and my husband can talk about this. We could sit here and talk, and we both got something totally different out of what was said in the same conversation, in the same room, at the same time.
So, but Mika, let's talk about you for a second, because you're an attorney. At the end of the day, at the end of a court case, we have a ruling, right? There is some way that we're going to walk out with one understanding, and this is the path we're going to go forward. So how would you, as an attorney, apply that in a relational situation where you say, okay, when we walk out this room, it might take us 2 days, 3 days, a month, but when we come to our ruling, this is our ruling, and this is how we're going to walk forward.
The problem is... I
wish y'all could see her face right now.
The ruling, we may come out with the ruling, but the understanding of the ruling is totally different between the two.
No, we are going to work really hard to make sure that we're both walking away with the right understanding. And if you aren't, and you can't get there, then you need to hire a therapist or a coach or somebody to help you get there, because you got to get there.
I agree with that. But then you got them knuckleheads that don't want to go through therapy. Can't nobody tell me how to think. Can't nobody tell me how to feel. Them Negroes.
Oh, no, not the Negroes.
You are going to have the hardest time getting through to and being able to move forward in a productive and positive way, because you can't get to this word right here, communication. You can communicate, but when there is no understanding with the communication,
right,
the communication fails. Because it requires both. It requires the talking, the listening, and the understanding in the middle.
Absolutely. Empathy is a big thing, because that makes a big difference. So, guys, we have our really good friend Iris here. I would love for her to just...
I knew you were going to say something. I am enjoying the conversation. Y'all ain't ready for the real or right.
Oh, yes, we are.
I'll come back on another episode.
The world needs it.
Iris is here for the real, right? We have been keeping it real the whole time. So, Iris,
yes, y'all have.
What is your take on that? Like, how
I agree with Mika. Even when you were talking about, like, if a judge make a ruling and you walk out, who's to say the ruling is fair? Who's to say the ruling is right? That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that communication, it's going to fail. So I'm sorry, I agree with Mika.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Right.
I get it. But still, we still have to come to some common ground so we can walk together. Whatever that is, right? And that's a good point.
I'm going to go church on you.
Okay, go church.
I'm going to go church.
Come on.
We first got to start with prayer.
Come on.
Because, seriously, we got to pray for these folks because they don't get it. They don't get it. And we got to pray that God help us to understand what the hell they thinking. Because I really... Sometimes I'll just be like, what? You know, it's just like...
We need a video because her face is saying it all.
God. Oh my God. I'm just like, I don't understand. I mean, I just...
It's
I
like
don't.
aliens.
And they can't... From another planet. I don't even think they understand themselves. Because they cannot even explain themselves. Mm-hmm. So how am I supposed to understand you when you don't understand you?
Exactly.
I can explain what I'm thinking and why I'm thinking what I'm thinking. Now, you might not agree with what I'm thinking, but at least I can explain to you what I'm thinking. Right? But when you can't even explain, and you're like, babe, why you do that? I don't know. What?
It's the truth.
Oh, Jesus. So we're going to start with prayer.
We're going to
start with prayer. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pray over them.
Yes, Jesus.
And we're going to pray over us.
Come in, Holy Spirit.
That God brings them from Mars to our Venus. So that we can be on the same planet.
Yes, please.
And we can understand the same language because
it's like the day of Pentecost. The day of Pentecost.
Oh my God.
Everybody's speaking different languages. Everybody understood. Look at how Jesus can do it.
Yes, he can do it.
Yes,
he the only one can.
Yes,
he the only one. Because guess what? I really think God made us this way so he could have some good laughs.
Yes.
God got a sense of humor.
Yes,
I'm telling, because he's like, let me watch these fools figure this out.
Right.
This gonna be good. So it's like, I'll be like, God, really? Yes. I know you made us both, but really? I don't get them.
What are we doing here?
Woo, Chad.
So, I love that we're starting with prayer.
We got to.
I think the second thing is going to be also really being self-aware.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem with some of them. That's the problem, though. Some of them aren't self-aware.
Everybody's got to be self-aware. Mm-hmm. We got to figure out
I agree with that.
What we're doing, how we're contributing to the problem.
Right.
You know, being accountable for our part that we're playing in it. And being open and honest with ourselves that maybe we are complete jerks at times.
And losing your self-centeredness.
That's a good one.
That ego.
Egotistical.
That's a big one. That's a big one. And that could be on either side.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get up to a place of communicating to the point where you can understand each other if you're not willing to think beyond and outside of yourself. That's you huge. Really have to, and I'm being serious now, really in a relationship, you really have to think about your partner. I really think you really have to get to a point where I love you more than I love my ego. And I'm willing to let my ego go for your betterment. Yeah. And until we get to that point, relationships are going to, fail. They really are. Yeah. They really are. I have to love you just as much, if not more, than I love myself. But I really have to let my ego go. Yeah. And I have to think beyond me. And I think that's the problem for us as women, especially good women. Now, you got some of them thoughts out there that
she bring out the thoughts. Now, here we go.
You know, some of them, they ain't worth a thought. But really good women, truly, really good women, I think that's what we do. We do the most. Yeah. And sometimes to our detriment. Yes. We think about everybody else except for us. And we're the last person that we actually consider. And we're the last person we take care of. We're the last person that, we really do forget about ourselves. We do. Self-love, self-care. We go so much and we go so hard for our loved ones, for our family, for our children, for our job, for everything and everybody around us to make sure they're good. And at the end of the day, sometimes we're not.
Right. Hence why some of us might not feel like doing anything From a physical standpoint, because you already poured out everything.
That part. But I think what men don't get is when we were saying earlier that it doesn't just start in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. We have to feel love to want to give that type of love, to want to give ourselves to you like that. Men may feel the love from you know, from that release that they get once you lay down with them. They're now, I feel all the love in the world. But we need to feel that love before we go there. Yeah. And they don't realize sometimes when we're pouring out, the way they can pour into us is not just the foreplay soon as we hit the bed. And some people don't even get that, to be honest.
Right.
But foreplay starts all day. Right. Like we were saying, it starts with the good morning. Yes. Acknowledge me, boo.
Yes. How are you?
How
was your day?
Yeah. I'm glad to have rolled over.
What? Ooh,
that part.
That's why you hear Iris.
What can I do to help you?
That part.
Yes.
So, hey, take some load off of me.
Please.
You know?
That's it.
Babe, you ain't even got to worry about cooking today. I got you. I'm already going to pick up something. I'm already ordered.
I'm going to take the initiative.
That
take the
part.
Initiative. See it with your eyes and be
that
like,
part.
That needs to be done. Let me go handle that.
That part.
My.
And this could be the simplest of things, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, it really doesn't. It takes thoughtfulness and effort. Really,
Yes.
That's all we really, as women, really want
that's
and need.
True.
Thoughtfulness and effort. So with that good morning, you get to work. Hey, your day going. Hey, babe, just wanted to check on you and see how your day is going. Just wanted to say hello and tell you I'm thinking about you. Yeah. That don't take very long at all. But you don't know as a man how much that does in pouring into that woman. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And they don't get that part. I had a conversation with my husband, and one thing I know is I give a lot. I pour out a lot. And I'll ask him, why haven't you done those things or do the things that I do? And it's always that energy and that effort. I'm not romantic. But I say, really, romance doesn't take a lot. Mm-mm. It don't even take a lot of money. It just takes some thoughtfulness and some effort. And that's all it takes. Mm-hmm. Even if you packed a basket and you woke up on a Saturday morning and said, babe, we don't have much to do. Don't plan anything. And you got a quilt off the bed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got a basket under the cabinet. You came down in the fridge and made some sandwiches. Yeah. Not sandwiches, some sandwiches.
Should be peanut butter and jelly and chips.
Girl, I don't care what it is. It's the thought. It's the whole thought and the effort.
Right.
And you took me out to a park with my favorite bottle of wine.
That's it.
It could have some Soho cups, girl. I don't care what we drinking out of. And we sat there and we just talked and on a nice day. Mm-hmm. That is romance.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
It doesn't.
But you know what? I think it goes deeper than that. Mm-hmm. Because I think it goes like looking at the relationship that their parents have. Did they show love to each other? Right. Did they see romance? And that's why it's important before people even get married that they get to know their partner and they get to know their partner's family.
Is so true.
Because I think, in my instance, I would just say it was like just a rush. So I didn't get to like examine everything. Mm-hmm. But just like I think it's a lot deeper than them honestly not knowing what to do. Did they see it? I saw it. Mm-hmm. I saw my daddy love on my mama. Right. I saw it. So I know what it's like to give and to do romance. But a lot of men, I would just say in general, I'm not quite sure if they saw that role model and that love within their household.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But you know what? I agree with you.
Yes.
But when you get old enough,
you should know better.
You
know
better.
That's right. That's right. You're 100% right. I was just trying to get to the root.
Right.
But you're right.
And that is the root of that's the root of the problem.
That's
but when you know, and I'm sure people in relationships like that have told their spouse what the problem is.
Absolutely.
So when you know that there's a problem, you got to be willing to fix that problem if you want that marriage or that 100%. Relationship to work.
You are right.
So you are right that is the root. But at what point
are you going to stop using it as an excuse?
Exactly. And start fixing the problem.
I agree.
So if I tell you, if you've never seen that, cool. But if I say, babe, hey, this is all I need.
That's it.
Then fulfill that need.
Right.
It's just as simple as that. And if you don't know, reach out to some of my friends. Reach out to a counselor.
Seriously.
Reach out to
all you gotta do is Google. Google about everything. What did I do to make you?
Right.
Reach out to
no. If you even Google it, that's effort in and of itself.
You are right.
Hey,
you are right.
I'm just saying.
You are right.
So, but we as women, we do that. We go all out and we make sure you're good.
You're good.
Mm-hmm. You're good. Now they may say, hey, except for when it comes to sex, but men think sex is the end all be all sometimes. And it really ain't. And I will tell you, we will be so much more willing to pour it out and give you up to your forehead and cooch. If you fulfill our needs. Yes. I'm trying to tell you.
And it's not that hard.
It's really not. We're so simple creatures. They just don't get it. It's some simple stuff. It really is simple stuff that will really pour into us. Yeah. That all of that we've poured out, it's just simple efforts, but you got to be willing.
That in order to do that stuff, she, whoever has got to be self-aware.
Very much so.
Realize how you're impacting this relationship. What are you bringing to the table? Because if you just feel like, oh, I'm good, you good, I think we good, and it's all from your own perspective, there's no motivation to change.
But that means you're not listening then.
This is true.
That means you're not listening.
But you don't care.
No act. Yeah.
Well, then you don't need to be in a relationship. Because if you don't care about what I feel, you don't need to.
You ain't willing to put in the work.
What?
You got to go.
Mika said stop you to get
right out.
Yeah, I mean, stop wasting everybody's time. Because if you really don't care about what I feel and what I'm then you waste. It's not.
Yeah. Like that is, I say that all the time. That's not love. Love is an action word.
It's true.
It's not just
love is patient. Love is kind.
Love is not envious.
Right.
It does not boast. It's not self-centered.
All of that.
Come on,
Go
Bible.
Corinthians.
Yes, Corinthians.
1 Corinthians.
13th chapter, y'all read it. 13th chapter. But it really is a lot of actions. And so if you're walking around saying, I love you, but you're not acting the word love, stop saying it.
Because actions speak way louder than words.
Yes, it does.
All day, every day.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I'm gonna need to see it and feel it and not just hear it.
Yeah. This is true. So it sounds like we did come up with some solutions for everybody who's listening. We said, number one, Mika said, pray, y'all.
First and foremost, you got to.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Then we talked about being self-aware.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Really looking at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Having good communication with good understanding and not just talking to each other, but really trying to understand.
We're going to still work on that one. We're going to be working on that one because that's going to be a hard one right there. That's going to be hard how you figure that part out. Yeah, that's going to be the underlying theme every time. How to speak their language and how to get them to understand ours. That's going to be the underlying thing. Every time you hear from B&D, that's Black Time and Entertainment, people. Every time you hear from us, it's going to be about that because men are from Mars and women are from Venus. And we trying to get them on the same planet as us. That's all we're trying to do.
Come on over here, speak my language.
That's all we're trying to do.
So we can get on one accord. Because how can two walk together unless they agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That part.
Yes. So this has been awesome. I have enjoyed myself today. We got our friend Iris.
You guys are amazing. Y'all are amazing.
Iris.
Y'all are amazing.
Iris in the house.
Yeah. See how God worked? We didn't even know Iris was coming through today. We knew we was going to record today, but see how God just planted her here.
Y'all are amazing. I've enjoyed this.
This is amazing. But I think we need to do more of this.
Yeah.
I think, women need to get together, keep it real, keep it real about relationships. Don't try to make it look so perfect on the outside because it's not. Do not believe Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, they tell lies. It's the book of many faces. Believe me.
I love that.
The book of many faces.
Book of many faces. Right. It's true because we can make it look good on the outside.
I will say this before we close for men. I want to give a nod to men. So, what do you do for the man who is in a relationship, is faithful, does what he's supposed to do, blah, blah, blah. But let's say, now we've already talked about, and it's in the same topic, my libido doesn't match your libido. Mm-hmm. But what if you have a man who's out there and his wife doesn't want to have sex at all?
Ooh.
She's like, ooh. But what as a sex therapist, Louise, and Louise is also a marriage counselor, y'all. So hey, she, it's coming from good authority here.
Double dose.
So what advice do you offer who loves his wife, wants to, or I shouldn't say wife, let's just say partner. Significant other, and wants to stay faithful for this person, but at his wit's ends and doesn't know how to get this person to come around, or to want to be intimate in that way, doesn't want to even be touched, because sometimes we get to that age, we in perimenopause, premenopause, menopause, and all of those menopausal souls.
Could be in cancer and so could be anything.
Right, and you just you don't want to, and so at all ever. So like ever. So what do you do? What advice do you give to that man who loves his wife, but also has needs of his own as well that are never being met? So, and I don't think it's fair, on that end either. So what do you do what do you say to him? What do you say to that? And it doesn't have to be a man. It could be, because we have
the other way around.
Mm-hmm. So what do you say to those?
So I think it really does go back to everything that we just talked about. But one of the biggest things is that we need to have an open and honest conversation about what is happening. Earlier in the beginning of this episode, we talked about all the different reasons why people may not have that same libido, or sometimes why people have libidos that are through the roof. I mean, there's a number of physiological things that are there. We also have all kinds of things like pornography and things like that people are engaging in or watching or whatever, and then it increases their libido as well. So I mean, there's so many levels and layers to it. We really need to know what's going on there. Is it that there is an issue with this lady or with the man? Sometimes it can be low testosterone for women and men. Is it a relational thing? Is it some bitterness and resentment that has built over time and he's just not aware that this has been built there? Is it a lack of emotional connection? Is the other person having an emotional or physical affair with somebody else? That's a very real thing. Right. And so there could be a plethora of things that could be going on, but I think it really, really should be that red flag that says, hey, we need to talk. Whether we're talking to each other directly in our own home, whether we're hiring a coach to help us, a relationship coach, whether we're hiring a therapist, a marriage therapist, our individual therapist to help us process through all of that, or even a marriage counselor. I mean, we have so many workers in this arena that can help.
So what if she or he or whoever it is that doesn't want to do it ever just don't want to see anybody? Because I don't want this. I don't want my business out. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't think this is a big deal, and I think that goes back to that self-awareness and that piece of it may not be a big deal to you, but it is a big deal to your partner. That's right. Especially if you're in a marriage and you still can get it up as a man. They want to at some point. Want some help to get it down.
That in the mic. So, she said it loud for the people in the back. If you can still.
I'm serious. So it's like you gotta be willing, just like we want men to fulfill our needs. On the flip side, whatever that partner that is lacking, they want their needs met as well. So
I still think you should. Love is an action word.
That's true.
If you love that person, you should be acting that out. You should get out of yourself. I think that's the answer. Whatever is going on. Love is the answer. Love is key.
That's it. Because if you truly love me, you will want to meet money. We're going to figure out how we can make this work for the both of us.
And not put your relationship on autopilot.
Right.
That could be a whole nother episode of a podcast right there. My relationship does not need to be on autopilot.
That's it. Because just going along, just routine. Right.
Like we just right here. We don't ever grow. We're not developing. We're not progressing. I don't see any progress. Like, that's crazy. So we should be always looking to make it. She said leave already. We should be working at this thing because we want to be great.
Yeah, and we can be greater together. But I can look. Some of my dad told me I could do bad all by myself.
I know.
I'm all by myself.
Because everybody around this table.
I don't need you to help me do bad.
Everybody around this table right now, like we're very. I really believe we're very strong women, and we know we can handle it by ourselves.
Right.
We may not want to handle it by ourselves.
That's it.
We want to be in relationship. We do.
Right.
But please know, we can.
We can.
And will.
Right.
If you push us.
Right. That's that right there.
I just wanted to go on record.
That right there. I always tell my kids, they always say, Mom, you can't do this and you can't do that. I said, listen, just because I don't mean I won't.
Right. Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted. I can do anything I want to do.
Absolutely.
Just because I don't want to do it don't mean I can't do it.
That's right. That's
and
right.
That's a difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Any final words?
No. Appreciate you, boo. I love you.
Yes. And here we got Iris. Yay. Y'all did good. Yay. So this has been our first episode of Black Diamond Entertainment.
Yes.
We know that diamonds go through a whole lot, but they are so strong. And so we just thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time.
Yes.
We thank you for tuning in to another episode of Black Diamonds 2.0 Entertainment. Let's talk about it. We thank you for your support, and we look forward to talking to you next time. Let's talk about it.